Hey, everybody. Today we are going into a transformational business mini habit to help you harness the power of storytelling to grow your business with ease. So if you've always wondered, how do I add more storytelling into my business? How do I integrate this into my business? You are going to love this episode. So, I want to welcome you to the Entrepreneur Expansion Show. This is the first ever gamified show that helps entrepreneurs master their subconscious mind, body, and business by implementing micro habits into their lives through a fun, supportive, action oriented way to create more transformational impact and income. So, I'm your host, Matt Travis, the founder of The Potential You. And if you want to gamify your mind, body, and business growth, join our free Unstoppable CEO Mastermind community and join other amazing entrepreneurs on their personal and professional growth journey. And you can win sessions, gifts, prizes to up-level your life. So here we go. Today we have an awesome guest. So this is Jesse Cruz. He's coming in and he's going to give us just a little bit about himself, but also really bring us to school on storytelling. So give me a little bit more about yourself, Jesse, exactly how you came across storytelling, like how this all came to you, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matt, for having me. Yeah, what led me into storytelling is going through a difficult season of my life, and I lost a loved one, and my life will never be the same because of that loss. And what got me through the most difficult season of my life was writing. I would write every single
Mm,
day until I cried because that was helping me heal and cope with that difficult loss. And so that's what led me into wanting to share my story because every time that I would write on that page, I felt a piece of me start to heal. And I realized that I'm going to put this into a book and I'm going to tell the story on stages. And that if telling my story can help me heal, I know it can do the same thing for other people. So storytelling is not just, yeah, I'm going to tell a story. Storytelling is a way to heal the person to become the person they want to be.
I love that take. It is a healing journey. Storytelling is not only helping you heal, but it actually, would you say it can help other people heal just through the power of your story? Do you think it helps others?
It does because a lot of times people feel like they're alone. They're going through a difficult time in life that they
Totally.
may never want to talk about and no one would understand and no one can relate. And when you hear somebody else tell a story of something similar to what you've gone through, they give you a sense of hope and inspiration to know that if that person can overcome that tragedy, I bet you I could do it too. So,
Mm.
storytelling is not just a way of healing for yourself, it is also the responsibility of the communicator of that story to inspire the hope of other people so they can see someone else who is healed through that process.
Inspire and hope, man. I love all of this. And so you wrote a book, you put this story into a book, and you spoke on stages about this story. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so what did that do? Like, what happened? Like, what was the transformation that took place? Because it sounds like, I mean, now that you coach around this and you do, this is really kind of what you do as a business. This obviously transformed your life in a way that was probably sounds unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, going through a difficult loss, you start to question your beliefs, you question your purpose. And I was able to reignite that purpose through sharing my story. And once I saw how important storytelling became, it inspired my wife, inspired my
Mm.
children. Right now, they're published authors. Now they share their story. And, and now we coach and train and teach and host seminars all over the world on the importance of sharing your story effectively from stage.
I love how you brought your family into this and were able to empower them in the understanding that their story matters. That is super powerful. So so I think what happens to a lot of people when they hear storytelling, because, a lot of people say, oh, tell your story. Stories are so powerful. They can improve your business. Like, what do you think that means? What do you think it means to actually do this? And how do you best do it?
Well, I think when you are going to share your story, there's a few things that there's some lessons I learned along the way. early on, I was sharing my story, but I was an emotional mess.
Hmm.
And I believe that we should share our stories from a place of our healing, not a place from our woundedness. And I was sharing it from a place of my woundedness. And so rather than me being up on a platform to being able to lead other people, they were just feeling sorry for me. And I was drawing pity, and that was not
Uh,
my intention. And so I was like, maybe I need to, go through this healing process a little bit more before I get up on stage and I'm crying and I'm a mess. I should gotta really do the inner work on myself and cope and
totally.
heal effectively. So I can't really lead people if I feel like I'm in complete wreck all the time. I need to work on myself, and that doesn't mean when you're leading people you still don't have bad days, right, or bad moments, or sadness, or grief, or frustrations. It's just we don't allow it to overtake our emotional and mental state. And
Sure.
so when people are storytelling, tell it from a place of how you healed from it, what you learned from it, how you're growing from it, and then encourage others to do the same.
This is so powerful because I think there's a lot of coaches and folks out there that really want to share their story. And what you just said there is so key where it's going through the healing journey and the work yourself, right? Like it's going through the fire, not dancing around it, so that you can actually heal so then you can be the leader that you want to be and not have people feel sorry for you, but feel empowered through hearing your story. Is that correct? Does that sound
Mhm.
accurate?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. And so if someone was to so like you I think first tip there was make sure you do the work first and do your healing work and then it's going to make your story it's going to be able to people are going to hear your story and be empowered by it if you go about it that way. So, step two, is there a certain format or formula or best practice when telling your story?
There's many different frameworks, but I will say when you are sharing your story, I believe the most effective story will be what I call the PBR model, which is one, it's personal, meaning you lived it. It's
Mm,
about your life, but don't make it about you. Like that's key. Like share the your life, but don't make it about you. Make it about the audience. How your life story connects to the audience. So it's personal. Then
mm,
it's vulnerable, meaning you're opening up to share maybe a not so proud moment. Uh, you're sharing a moment that was, it was tough, it was challenging, and that builds connection, that builds trust, that builds a relationship. And so vulnerability is key when presenting on a story. And then the last one is make it relatable. So I have plenty of different stories in my life that I know people can, and some of them they cannot relate to. I try to focus on stories that are most relatable to the most amount of people. So if
got
I'm
it.
getting on a stage and I'm talking about something that no one's ever experienced, even if I did do that, I want to find the universal, which means everybody has a type of emotion that they could take from that story and relate to. So, always finding a way to make that story most relatable to the most amount of people. Keep your stories personal, vulnerable, and relatable, and help it to solve a problem for your audience. And that is a great framework to use for storytelling.
This reminds me of like how musicians do it when they're singing their song and they're telling their story through song on stage and everyone's out there they're having an emotional reaction to it even though they're speaking to one person, right? So they're kind of speaking to their loved one or whatever it is and everyone is interpreting it and feeling their way. So making it universal is super duper key. Um Absolutely love that. So if someone was to get into storytelling, I think the second point there was make sure you're picking a story that's universal. That's the takeaway that I got from what you just shared. Would you say that's like the big takeaway right there?
Mhm. Definitely.
Got it. And so if someone was to go and implement this model, how would you implement it in your business to improve your business?
Hmm. Yeah, so you would want to share stories, whether you're doing it virtually or doing it in person. You want to share stories of how this specific message that you have will help solve the problem of the audience. So, whether you're selling a product or you're selling a service, you have a story connected to that product or that
Mhm.
service, and understanding your audience's pain points and their problems, that your solution, your product and service is the solution that they're looking for. And you utilize storytelling to highlight the importance of taking next steps to hire you, to work with you. And that's why storytelling is so key. It's one of the most important aspects of communication and business building is, people don't buy just what you do, they buy why you do it. And your story
Totally.
is why. Why should they buy? Well, listen to this story. The story should allow the audience to see themselves in the story, and they want to support the movement.
100%. I love all of the digestible way that you deliver this. And so now at this point, if someone's listening to this in about 90 seconds, how could we frame this daily habit that they can now go and do to practice this skill of storytelling within their business? So, over a 14 to 30-day period, if they took on this challenge that we're giving them here and they were to go and implement this, what do you think is the best way for them to go implement this new micro habit to start to build it into their daily lives and business practices?
So the very first thing is that you want to focus on a character. Typically, I say the best character is you and your daily experiences, whether you're at the grocery store, the gas station, at the mall, anywhere where people gather. There's stories within those moments. We just pay close attention. So there's a character. In those moments, there's some sort of conflict. So first the character, then the conflict. The
Mm,
conflict could be I was stuck in traffic. The conflict could be I left my wallet in the car. The conflict could be I can't find my keys on the way to the store. There's all these little micro conflicts, right?
sure.
And so there's conflicts everywhere. It's just some of them we don't pay attention to or are aware of, and we overlook them. Could be the person in front of you at the store. They couldn't buy the groceries. Well, there's a conflict everywhere. The line is long, right? There's conflicts
Sure.
constantly around us. So first a character, then you have a conflict, and then because with no if there's a story and there's no conflict, there really is no story. No conflict,
Yeah.
no story, no story, no conflict. And so always utilize conflict into storytelling, and then from there have some sort of coach or another guide of someone who gives you instructions or guidance on how to overcome the conflict. So, for
Yeah.
example, if I'm at the grocery store and the line is really long, and the one of the cashiers in the next lane opens up their register and they say, "Come over here." Well, that they helped you relieve the conflict, or maybe you had to reach out to somebody and, "Hey, can I get in front of you? I'm running behind." Like that's a conflict that you had required somebody else to help you, or you help yourself. And then lastly is the conclusion. Like, what is the solution? What do I want my audience to take away? So anytime before storytelling, three questions you always want to ask. One, what do I want my audience to know? What do I want them to feel? What do I want them to do? Feel, know, and do. If you can answer
Mm,
that question before you start with the story, you'll be able to tell more compelling stories.
so awesome. Can you say the four C's that you said again, just so that everybody has got
Mhm.
them?
One, it's a character with a conflict. There's a coach, which meaning a guide of some sort to help you, and then a conclusion.
This is so great. Folks, this is gold right here. I hope you're all absorbing this. So the challenge here, folks, is going out and starting to implement this into your daily life, right? So over the next 14 to 30 days, if you can start to include these in social posts, right? In your emails, in your marketing materials, right? In your landing pages, in your live videos, in your podcasts, right? All of these different areas. There's so many different ways that you can take what Jesse was just teaching there and implement them into your business and your life. And I'm guessing that when you do this more, you just get better at it because that's what's happened for me. The more I practiced it, the better storyteller I became. Correct?
Absolutely.
Cool. So I love all of this, Jesse. This is unbelievable. So, folks, if you were interested in developing this habit, jump into the community so that you can start taking on this challenge and start taking on this mini habit and developing it and get rewarded for it. Jesse, if they were looking for you and they were to seek you out, where's the best place for them to find you, and how would they find you?
Yeah, they can follow me. Instagram is fine. Jesse Cruz speaks. Send me a message.
Perfect. Perfect. And I'll include that in the show notes, y'all. And Jesse will be in the community to answer questions, or as you're going through the mini habit, he'll be able to see that as well. So thank you so, so much for delivering such an amazing transformational mini habit today that I know for a fact, folks, because I'm living proof of it. When you start to implement this into your business, it will allow you to show up better. It will allow you to take better action and get better results. So we'll see you in there, and I'm excited to see who here is taking this action and implementing this new way of being, y'all.